how many people have you met in your life?
Millions? No, not millions, right? Is that possible?
Probably not.
Maybe 1 million.
Probably not. You're traveling, man. So
What
I don't
you
know.
mean by
I
meet,
highly
though?
doubt that you've met like actually had conversations with and maybe had more than one conversation with.
Oh, okay. Then hundreds.
Yeah. Right. So it's
Yeah.
still a pretty decent size number. And I'm in the same boat where I've
100,000, maybe
talked
1,000.
with, certainly thousands of people over the years, including work and personal life.
Yeah, I can
but
say
there's very few relationships that really take on this. I don't know if bond is the word. They're just special.
Yep.
Right. And I don't think I remember the first day I met you. I bet you don't even remember this. You remember where we were?
In the fucking conference room, right?
Yeah. I was running the EEC class at Columbus House.
Yeah.
And you were coming in to take some sort of test.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you looked all the kind of like banged up. I think you had been up all night or worked like a night shift or something.
I got to state this. I went from the day before, I worked overnight at ShopRite. No, the night before, which was like my third day of doing this though. But the night before, I worked third shift Columbus House running a warming center. I left there and ran immediately to fucking ShopRite in West Haven. Worked there in produce from 5 a.m. till 10. Left there and we came straight to go take that test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember that. And at no point in my mind was like, oh, this is a person that I'm going to have a lifelong relationship with.
Right.
And I think all good relationships are built on common interests. And the one thing that really stood out was sports.
Yep.
Right. And we got that pretty much took off. And then shortly after, you kind of shared with me a little bit about your story and I shared a little bit about mine. And it was like, damn.
Yeah.
Somehow coming from totally different backgrounds.
Yep.
Right. Forming this bond over these.
That's one thing about that I tell people when I talk about you. Like you said, two different worlds, two different demographics, but so much in common. You know, there was so much in common, which I think, I hope this podcast ends up doing for a lot of people to step out of out of the regular circle of people that you've met and, you know, stepping out of there and seeing that there's other people out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cause I was like, I met you at the right time. Maybe if I met you 5 years before that, I don't know if I'd have been so open, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think, that was really profound for me. You know what I mean?
If you met me 5 years earlier, I would have been a client.
Yeah. Shit. If you'd have met me 5 years, let me see. Yeah, I'd have been waiting to be a client because I'm in prison and I can't wait to come home so I can be a fucking client.
Yep.
Let alone, you know. So yeah, and yeah. It was yeah. It's just crazy when I think back about that time. Yeah. I remember the conference room. I don't think I met you. You're right though. That's not the day I met you.
Right.
But that was like the day it was like, oh shit, like, because we were talking sports. Something came up in that meeting about sports, and I said something. I think I was either going to a Yankees game or something, and you said something about the Red Sox, and my stomach turned, and or was it the Patriots? I can't remember.
Patriots are coming fresh off a Super Bowl.
I don't think it was that.
Oh, it was that. It was winter 2014, so probably February 2014, right off a Super Bowl.
See, it was 2015.
2015, right off a Super Bowl in 2014. Yeah.
Okay. February 2015?
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes 100% sense because I think I took that job. Yep, you're right. Because I took that job March 16th of 2015.
That's right.
Yep.
So it was right after that. But that, again, sparked this huge journey. And it's been interesting where and we'll get into kind of the background of your story and what landed you in prison.
Yep.
In my story and what landed me in the chair.
Yep.
But to look at how we got to this moment now, right? It really, if I can think of one thing, and I know it kind of sounds kind of cliche, but it was this desire to help others, right? We had both been through so much pain and didn't want other people to go through the shit that we went through. And it really stemmed around the idea of starting a nonprofit, right? I remember we were sitting eating that fucking terrible fried chicken right at Edgewood Park.
Edgewood Park.
And it was something I asked you, like, hey, what's your like 5-10 year plan? Something along those lines. And you're like, hey, one day I really want to start a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I think my next words were, let's do it.
Yeah. Literally. That was literally it.
And then
said, let's do it.
Through that just gave us the opportunity to actually see each other regularly. And then this developed, and sitting and having these types of conversations for years now has figured, hey, let's try to reach more people than we can with the nonprofit. So we thought this would be a great kind of
platform
means to do it. Yeah.
Great platform.
So with that, I really have been looking forward to this particular day for a long time. And I know you say I've already heard your story, but I don't think I've heard all the bits and pieces. So I'm incredibly excited for you to not only share it with me, but to share your story with the world, because it's incredibly powerful. And I think not only, I mean, it inspires, and it is proof that in a relatively short period of time, right, with hard work and discipline, you can go from having virtually nothing to having a life where you're flying out to Phoenix to watch your Suns in playoffs for the first time in a decade.
Let's go, Suns.
But with that, let's jump in if you're cool with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I know, again, jumping on the sports route, I know you born and raised in Jersey?
Born in Brooklyn.
Born in Brooklyn, okay.
Born in Brooklyn. Moved to Jersey at like 2 years old. So I always tell everybody I'm from Jersey, but I was, the birth certificate say New York City. So New York, and then, raised in Jersey.
So knowing you today as the character that you are, what was young Kevin like?
Oh, man. Young Kevin, I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I think to really describe young Kevin would have to be loving, smart, and a lack of self-confidence. For sure. A lack of self-confidence. Very, maybe not even loving, very passionate. So anything I did, I really wanted to be the best at it.
Yeah.
Anything I did, whether it was playing soccer, doing music, because that was a lot of my childhood, sports and music, and being a pastor's son was a lot of philanthropy. Like it was always about someone else. It was always about the other kids in the church and all that stuff, which, I had no quarrels with that at all. It was more so our Christmases were, for me and Jeff, that's my older brother, for me and him, our Christmases consisted of us wrapping gifts for kids in the church, and then whatever was left over, if a kid didn't show up or whatever, that was our Christmas toys. You know what I'm saying? We really ain't have like Christmases that was really about us per se. It was always about the church.
Yeah.
And when I look back, that was one of the main principles all my family was about, was helping others, for sure, since day one, as long as I can remember. So for me, I was striving to be great at stuff, but I never felt like I fit in.
Yeah.
So whether I was, and not so much in the family, but more so by my peers in the community. So in my neighborhood, I'm the only kid that's playing soccer. Everyone else playing basketball and football, so I don't fit in when it kind of that. when it comes to my neighborhood, all these I'm like the smart kid, but when I'm with the smart kids at school, I'm not the smartest kid. So I'm like, they're making fun of me and talk about how I used to say brother, mother, you know what I'm saying, other, everything with a V, and they would kill me on that. And, it's kids, but that used to really bother me, you know what I'm saying? So I really, would try not to even use those words, it used to be crazy. And so, yeah, I think I wouldn't fit in there. And then when I got, I just always try to fit in, and I always felt like I didn't fit in, and I was just like always the odd man out in a sense.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that, and I call that kind of like I quickly learned at a young age to kind of become a chameleon. And it's funny because, and I don't know if funny is the right word, but there's so many similarities in what you just said where like this idea of, hey, I want, and I think it was very much ingrained in kind of the way you grew up where, hey, we're going to give before we take.
Yeah.
And the hard part is if I'm always giving, what am I investing in myself? But I know.
Even that investment in myself is for what? It wasn't for me per se.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Music is for the church.
Right.
Sports is for my dad.
Yeah.
Well, soccer's particularly. So yeah, that's a great point.
And it's interesting because I think that can tie into, right, if I'm always giving and I don't know what I want or I don't feel like I can do the things I want, for me, I started doing things I thought other people wanted me to do, right? And that's where I turned into a chameleon. So, and what sucked in my life was the idea that shit worked.
Yeah.
Like I made a ton of friends being everything but who I was.
Yeah.
And that kind of set up the middle part of my life to this point.
That you nailed that. That's literally it. And it's funny. Well, yeah, we're gonna try not to use the word funny, right? But it's when I reflect back on what you just said and just thinking back, like I never really knew who I was. I really never knew who I was, and who I was that did try to peek out. Like, for example, if I'm hanging out, just skipping some years, if I'm in high school and we're hanging out and we're going to Newark and we're in the inner city and we meet some chicks and we're all talking, and the way I talk and pronunciate words is not, slang, so I sound like I'm out. You know what I mean? I don't fit in.
Yep.
And they're making fun of me for that. And it's like, all right, I gotta change the way I talk.
Yeah.
I gotta dumb down in a sense. And it's like, all right, so well, you're not gonna keep doing who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? You kind of like kill yourself in a way.
Do you feel like there was something appealing to that?
In terms of what?
Like in terms of dumbing it down, did you feel like was that something that was attractive, or did that feel like in the moment that you were going against totally who you were? And maybe you don't know. That's like a real self-reflection question.
It's a good one too. I think in the moment, I was just looking for acceptance. So if you're going to accept me by doing that, then
right,
I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like what you said, like you make a whole bunch of friends on this falsehood. And then you make a whole bunch of friends, acquaintances, or whatever based off of someone that you're not. And then when those friendships and all that stuff don't work out, you're not even aware that it's you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're like, oh, this person was a piece of shit anyway, and da 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 da. And I'm like, nah, like
yeah, you can't keep the story straight in your head.
So yeah, I think for me it was definitely just wanting to be a part of something.
Yeah. When was the first time you felt a part of something, even if you weren't necessarily a part of it? Like, did you find that back when you were in doing the work in the church with your family or playing music at school? Did you ever feel kind of a part of?
Well, yeah, in those things. Yeah, I feel like I felt a part of stuff when it comes to music for sure. The church for sure. The church is is an experience in itself because I was fully accepted in the church. You know what I'm saying? Respected, a great musician,
What instruments you play?
drums, piano, trombone, a little bit of bass guitar, a little bit. Um, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I grew up doing absolutely nothing artistic at all, and like it just was never a part of my life.
Yeah.
But I love the trombone, man. What was that like?
Oh man. What was the trombone like? It's a funny guy, man. What's the trombone like? Well, it's like this.
There it is.
Oh man. The trombone was good. Jeff, again, shout out to Big Bro. Jeff originally played the trombone. So Jeff was my superhero. You know what I'm saying? Jeff was like, man, I just looked up to Jeff so much. Like Jeff was such a like, he was really my superhero, man.
Yeah.
Jeff was such like, I wanted to be just like Jeff. Everybody wanted to be like Mike during my era. I wanted to be like Jeff. You know what I mean? And Jeff played trombone in 5th grade, so I'm gonna play trombone. I get the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And again, with music, at that time I was playing drums in church, and I wouldn't play in school because I just felt like it wouldn't be beneficial for me to learn how to play drums at that level. Because at that point I was
You're doing it.
Yeah, at 5th, 6th grade I'm playing drums for the high school. You know what I'm saying? So it's really.
Did you build any connections, or you're probably too young at that point to really develop relationships with high schoolers?
Actually, I did. Through music, I did. There was a dude named Lamar, and he was like he was a good football player and a beast at drums. And he wouldn't play in the marching band because he played football, but any other time he was playing drums. And he knew my brother, and he heard of me, and then he see me play, so he would like put me on. You know what I'm saying? At a young age, like I had to be, 6th grade, 7th grade, and he was pretty much took me under the wing from a music point of view because where I'm from Hillside, which is a suburb of Newark, but Newark has a lot of schools, specifically one Shabazz, is like mean when it comes to drums, like mean. They travel, all that, and Hillside was never known for that, so they always like the like I was the guy that could actually finally beat them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
So that had to have felt real good.
Yeah, it felt. See, the thing with the music was I love music, and it definitely felt good to be the guy in music. But at the same time, it was like it's music. You're kind of a geek,
Sure.
you know. And I didn't want to be a geek anymore. I was getting bullied, beat up, all that stuff.
And when did that start?
I got bullied early and often for a while. Elementary school for sure. Just walking home and dudes just,
Yeah.
just fucking with me,
So they beat the love out of music.
Yeah. It's an Amber Alert. Yeah. I want to. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Because when I got to the high school, I didn't want to play in the marching band because I didn't want to wear the uniform. And truthfully, that was selfish of me because I'm the best drummer in the high school.
Yeah.
Freshman year, walking in, I know that. Everyone knows that. No doubt about it. It's not a secret. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that just because of what other people think, not because I love it.
Yeah.
Because I loved it, but I didn't want to. I was tired of it. I wanted to be cool for once. And,
So what did being cool look like, or your thought process What was that?
Well, all the cool kids. So this is a story that changed the projection of my life for real. Going into high school, I played traveling team soccer, 8th grade. And during that time, I wasn't the best player. My coach would encourage me to play in high school, but like the other kids that were a little older than me or in high school would say, I suck, you're not that good, da 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 da. So it was like, I'm about to go play varsity with a whole bunch of people that don't even like me. You know, I was going to be the only black kid there. There was another kid that was black, but he wasn't black. He was Spanish. So to us, it's like, yeah, you're black, but you're Spanish, like the rest of them. So right. It's a different vibe. For me, I was going to be the only black kid on the team, and it just felt like they didn't even want me there. You know what I'm saying? And so what I did was my first day of high school, instead of going out for tryouts for soccer team, because I was guaranteed I was going to make it, no problem. But instead of me doing that, I went ahead and played football for the first time in my life, organized football for the first time in my life. And I went to try to be a kicker and punter, and I was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I played football my freshman year. Didn't get much burn. Towards the end of the season, I get in once in a blue, but it wasn't really that good. And the reason I did that was because I felt like all the cool kids from my neighborhood or from my town played football, played basketball. And I didn't want to be in the band, on the marching band, and getting made fun of wearing the uniform. And I didn't want to play soccer anymore. And I was having a little difficulty with my dad. So that was like a little, when I look back at it, a little blow to him to say, hey, I'm not going to play soccer. You know, he's going to look at it like, what? You've been playing soccer your whole life? You ain't going to play now? And I was like, yeah. Because I was like, I kind of realized I was doing it for him.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I think my life I started going down a path starting from there compared to soccer. So one big thing for me when I look at it is like, I failed every single class my freshman year. Ben, you hear me? Every class. There's 7 classes. I got 7 Fs.
Do you have gym?
I failed gym.
Dude, how do you fail gym?
Because I didn't go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I had actually, I'm lying. That's the only class I passed.
That's what I thought. What
am I talking about?
Come on, you're making me feel crazy.
Nah.
Maybe you was fair enough on you.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, you're right. No, I did pass gym. I had English. So in my time in high school, I don't care how many credits you got or pass. If you don't pass English 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
You're doing it again.
Yeah, you do it again. Yeah. So I went to summer school and did English and some other subject.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm a sophomore, but I only had those 2 classes.
Right. And so a couple things that I want to dissect a little bit. One, I just think it's really interesting how you mentioned, hey, I'm going to stop playing soccer because I kind of realized I was doing that for my dad and I wasn't really doing it for me. But then I'm going to go play football, which didn't really sound like you were doing for you. You were doing it for the crowd that you were trying to chill with.
Yeah.
So I thought that point was just kind of an interesting, like little contradicting, I guess.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Nah, very much so. I don't, and not to say I don't blame my brother, because he told me don't play football. But I feel like I didn't have that person to be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you don't go play some fucking soccer tomorrow, what the hell are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have that. I just had to like, yo, what are you doing? That's stupid.
Right.
But he's a senior. He's trying to get scholarships. He's doing his thing. Yeah. He captain of the football team. Yeah. So, he's doing his thing. So I don't blame him or nothing, but I do feel like I was able to do it. Like I didn't have the right person to tell me not to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, having that, especially when you're a kid, right? And you don't really have the ability to think in the future and be like, hey, what I do now is going to affect me week, month, year.
Yeah.
Having that person that can stand in and really provide some sense of direction, right? That no one can make you do it, but at least give you that pressure and light that fire to really make you think about, hey, I've been playing soccer my whole life. I have this skill that I'm pretty good at, and now I'm just kind of throwing it away because I want to go meet new people,
right? Or be accepted. I knew them, but they made fun of me too. So I just wanted to be. And even then, that freshman year, I was getting bullied and picked on in the locker room and all that stuff.
So your idea of what was going to happen and what actually happened were 2 different things,
right?
Yeah.
but I just wanted to be cool.
Mm.
I just wanted. For so long I wanted to be cool.
Yeah,
You know,
I hear you.
so long, man, and nothing was working. Nothing was working. Yeah, I don't. You know, I didn't have it figured out, but I thought that was the best thing to do. You know what I mean at the time.
Yeah.
And I think on another point for the soccer thing, I feel like, you know, no one came to me from the soccer team to be like, yo, you're not playing?
Right.
Like, you ain't going to play? And I played with these kids my whole life.
So that felt like shit.
Yeah. Like, they didn't want me. Like, that confirmed they didn't want me there.
Right.
You know, and they didn't think I was that good or whatever.
Yeah. So coming back to freshman year, failing all the classes, except for gym.
Yeah.
Was it, hey, I'm just not trying, or I'm not, because you're by no means like, I'm sure you could have showed up and passed every single class with minimum effort if you wanted to.
Yeah.
What was that? Was it more like I'm just checking out, or what was the process in failing the classes?
Well, attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it was, again, being accepted, and I just wanted attention in any form, way, or fashion. So, acting up in class, you know, misbehaving, getting kicked out of class all the time, ISS all the time, in school suspension, central detention, or whatever it was called. All of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, Dr. Jordan Peterson has a brilliant quote where he says the universal currency is recognition. We all want to be recognized, right? And if I can't get recognition through accolades and doing something that sets me apart, I'm going to stoop down and try to grab it at any means necessary. So in your mind, the idea of, hey, if I'm failing, people are going to see that, and that's going to give me more, what would you say?
Yeah, attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, attention for sure. And this is a 14-year-old kid doing this shit, so I don't, obviously I didn't process it that way at the time, but yeah, for sure. When I reflect back, I just wanted the people to enjoy me, whether you laughed with me or at me. I didn't care.
Yeah, no, and I'll never forget a day, because in high school, again, and I know this isn't about me, but a very similar,
we're talking.
very, very similar experience where I was willing to do quite literally anything, and I mean anything to get recognized. And at one point, every single bathroom in the school was tagged up with BBSR, which stood for Ben Backus Smokes Rocks. And it was either that or Ben Backus Boofs Moon Rocks, or there was all sorts of crazy things written. And my principal thought that I had done it. And I did not write any of this stuff whatsoever, but he did. And he actually had me write out these things that started with letter B so he could analyze the handwriting. It was pretty funny. But that's besides the point. The idea, was he came up to me and he said, listen, man, I don't think you get it. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. And I, for the first time, kind of reflected. And again, I shoved that shit down and pretended like that wasn't true, but it hit me yeah, I think people are laughing at me. And this isn't a joke that I'm in on. It's a joke and I'm on the outside.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see that in the moment.
And it's funny that you just said the outside, because you did all that shit again, the inside, and you're still on the outside.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the things, that I hope I could spread through my messages to people, yo, be you.
Yeah.
It's really good enough. I think, stepping out of that and trying to be something else is not going to work anyway.
Yeah, it's hard though, and I know for me that was a lesson I needed to learn through trial and error and being beat down, and realize that my best attempt at being liked, my best attempt at trying to fit in, left me the way I am,
Yeah. Yep.
So coming back, you joined the football team freshman year.
Yep.
Grades are tanking. What comes next?
Well, at the time, after watching my brother for 4 years, and going to high school, I kind of figured how to hide my grades and how to, intercept the mail before it gets to the crib and all that. So they didn't really know how bad I was. They started getting calls coming to the high school, your kid's acting up, getting suspended, stuff like that. But they didn't really realize how how bad I was. So it was time to go to summer school, and there wasn't any summer school in Hillside, so you had to go to out of the district, but you had to pay. So when I had to say, hey, I need $400 to go to school in the summer, that's when they was like, what? But they gave me the money for it, and I went to school, went to summer school, and even in summer school, not for nothing. And anyone that really knows me from growing up, from elementary, knows my academic prowess and all that stuff. They know I wasn't supposed to be up in there, and I was so happy though to be there. Simply not because of the, you know what I mean? Not because of the education, because I already, it wasn't that. It was more so, I was getting cool with people. You know what I'm saying? The cool kids.
Yeah.
They're in summer school. You know what I'm saying?
So it was this moment that, because I would imagine going up to your pops and your mom who, have this kind of pillars of the community and being like, hey, I got to go to summer school. In theory, I would imagine that was like probably felt pretty crappy, right?
Initially.
But it sounds like it ended up feeling pretty good when you started to actually meet people and connect.
Yeah. Yeah. Initially, definitely, it was shitty because I didn't know if they were going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So in that regard, that in itself was tough just to ask them that. And I know they didn't expect it from me. But on the flip side, yeah, I definitely enjoyed having new friends and new people that not sure I would even associate it with if I was getting good grades and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'd have been in whole different classes, whole different environment.
Yeah. So in that moment, did you feel a part of, or we're still kind of not there yet?
No, I started to feel a part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah. I started feeling a part of. It was what you said earlier about sports, that relationships are built on common interests.
Yep.
So the common interest of having to go to school in the summer with these guys and gals, yeah, that was it's like fit in, and people start treating me like, hey, KP, what you about to do and all that, and I'm like, hey, I'm about to chill. What's up? You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely, yeah. So my next few years, man, just to fast forward, my next few years pretty much went the same way. I think my sophomore year actually was my best year academically, and I was eligible my junior year to play soccer. I tried to play soccer, but and I played, but I didn't play the season. I went to a couple practices, but again, it just didn't feel like they even wanted me there, man.
Yeah.
So
did you want to be there? Like take out if they wanted you there or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love soccer, man. I love soccer, man. Oh man. That was one of my joys, man.
Yeah.
Soccer, bro. Like I loved it. I loved everything about it. My dad just taught me so much about soccer that, kids at my age or at that age, at a young age, I'm on a whole nother level. Yeah. So that felt good to be one of the best because of that. I had advantage. And, just the beauty of the sport, the grass, the smell, everything, man. Everything, man. Team. Cause I'm a big team player. I love team sports and team, just the whole psychology behind teamwork and, being a player, a part of something greater.
Yeah, and I break it down to like having meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Which for sure. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And so yeah, I think it was that, but I think again, going back, lack of self-confidence, I think, not feeling wanted.
Sure.
Made me say, man, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this no more.
So going from that to then being completely accepted with this new crowd.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And being accepted for I guess negative behavior.
Yeah, I look at it as, again, like to be accepted. If I'm trying to do something that is going to benefit me, right? Being accepted takes effort, right? It takes showing up. It takes putting in the work. Whereas fitting in the crowd you're talking about, right? Hey, I can fit in for doing virtually nothing, right? I can fit in for taking the path of least resistance.
Right.
And that, again, when you haven't fit in somewhere before, what's better than that?
Yeah.
Dude, you're not only telling me now I have friends, but I have friends that I get to do nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't have to open myself up. I don't have to subject myself to potential failure. I just get to show up and do whatever, and I'm liked.
Yeah. Chase chicks,
Yeah.
be an asshole in school, and play video games. Yeah. No, for sure. And yeah, that was one of the you nailed it. Yeah, that was one of my attractions to the whole thing. It was just fitting in, man. Like, I'm a part of something,
Yeah.
you know. And that came to fruition my junior year, I want to say. My junior year, I was friends with this kid, and then we were there was a couple of us, and we went out to this basketball game, and we were about to get into a fight, and through that fight we had this camaraderie, and then we just started, hanging out and claiming our neighborhood, and we formed a brotherhood. And at that point, that might be the first. Not even might. That is the first time that I was accepted in the in crowd. And a lot of it was because KP's funny. KP makes jokes, and from what I think, at least, and more so KP's funny and makes jokes and da 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 da. So that's when it started. That's when I was accepted and I was a part of something.
It's funny how fighting is like a surefire way of building camaraderie.
Yeah, I think among men, I think in the heat of the moment, you kind of go off your natural instincts.
Absolutely.
And if me and you were in something and we're out together and something happens and my natural instinct is to fight rather than flight, you're going to love the hell out of me because I stood by you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
knowing you got my back, I got your back. And I think also having like a defined enemy.
Yeah.
Unites.
Yeah.
Right.
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
It's interesting how that is such an easy way.
Mm-hmm. Again, I think, like I said, you have this raw, natural moment where someone's instinct could tell you how they really rock with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then,
yeah, there's no faking it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no faking in that moment. So, to get that, you especially for me, that wasn't a common thing.
Right. So
for someone to have my back and make sure I'm good is like, what?
Yeah.
I gotta do the same.
Right.
I have to do the same, So yeah. But so yeah, man, belong to that crew, and like I said, just a bunch of dudes that want to form a brotherhood in the neighborhood, and that was that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was my junior year. So now my senior year, which is really my junior year technically, but my senior year, I get to that point, and at this point, I'm out of control. And
when you say out of control, what does that actually look like?
I was sober. That's one thing. And I'll talk about that in a second. But at that moment, I still never smoked or drank. You know what I'm saying? At that point. But what it looked like was I would just act every class. I'm acting up, and the high school was just sick and tired of me. So if I came late to school, you came late to school, we walk in at the same time late. And this literally happened to me. You walk in late, you're gonna get after school detention. I'm getting 3 days suspended. You know what I'm saying? They had a target out for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If someone gets
I think you put a target on your back. I don't know if they had one out for you.
Well, they damn sure were shooting at it. Shit.
Sounds like it was a self-induced
No, it was.
target.
No, it was. It was. It was. Now looking back, yeah, I don't blame him. I was wilding. But yeah, so they would just, if I got something that would warrant a 3-day suspension, I'm getting 10 days.
Right.
So at this point, I'd have missed like 40 something days before January 1st, which is in school.
Right. Yeah,
Nuts. Done. So they were talking about kicking me out and all this stuff. So I just dropped out.
Yeah.
I just dropped out.
And this was your senior year, but it was supposed to be your junior year.
No, this was
opposite.
my opposite.
Okay.
This is my 4th year of school.
Gotcha.
And I just dropped out of high school, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped out of high school, and I didn't go to school for a few months. I was chilling, and then I went to night school. And again, I was still part of this crew, because now I'm known for being a part of this crew.
Yeah.
And so if you see me, you see the crew. If you see the crew, you see me. If you know what I mean? And I went to school with one guy from the crew, and as we did that, yeah, my behavior wasn't awarded, but it was. You know what I'm saying? Because now, I still got this crew, and they're bigging me up. They're laughing, and it's like, hey, you're going to night school, so are we. Who cares?
So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
So you weren't being awarded, but you were?
Yeah. So I
got you. I'm losing you.
No, I got you. So I wasn't awarded because dropping out of high school was no benefit to that.
Yeah.
Other than going to night school.
Yeah.
But that's because I have to now.
Yeah.
So I wasn't awarded in that regard. Like, I just took a step back for no reason, really. Because like you said, if I did even half of that, I would have, graduated high school.
Right.
Like the rest of normal kids. But I was awarded in terms of the crew I was with and all that. I still...
Okay.
They didn't leave me. If anything, we got closer.
Right.
So, but I had to be this person that I really wasn't.
Right.
And at this point, you can't tell me I'm not that person, though. I think that was one of the things when I reflect back, like, I really thought I was that person, though.
You have to.
Yeah.
Right? Because to do those things that go against your core values, you have to have that self-manipulation piece to say, no, that's not who I am. This is who I am. At least that's how it played for me, right? The things right. I think about that I cringe at, it's like, how did I do that? Well, in the moment, I justified that 100%. And there was no talking me out of it.
Right. And that's literally, yeah, well said. That was it. And so, yeah, I went to night school, and a few months later, I graduated because I only needed credits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I graduated, and my brother, well, at this point I graduated and I was hustling. I got into so when I got out of school, when I dropped out of high school, I started hustling. Both my parents are working during the day, ain't nobody home, so I'm outside. I'm doing little 1-2s, trying to, make it work outside. You know what I'm saying? And I started hustling, and that I was good at it. I was.
Well,
good.
you weren't getting high at the time, right? So yeah, you were good at it.
I was. That's what's kind of funny though, because anybody I know me back then, like before I started smoking weed. I used to be like, yo, y'all bugging. Y'all smoking weed. What's wrong with y'all? I look stupid. I was about my money. Like, that's dumb to me. Like, Biggie, my favorite rapper. Don't get high on your own supply. You know what I'm saying? So, I was good at it, and I was focused, you know what I mean? And I was stacking money. I was always a guy to get money. Always. Since a kid, always was a money getter.
That was important.
Yeah. Always. And, so I started hustling, and then once I got my diploma, Jeff made a proposition to me and said, "Hey, you're getting in a lot of trouble in Connecticut. You're getting a lot of trouble in New Jersey. You just graduated. Why don't you come out here? We get an apartment, and you could go to school at Central, or go to school in Connecticut." So I'm like, what? So now I get my own apartment, do this, do that with my brother, my superhero?
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
What, 18, 19 at that time?
18. 18.
Okay.
Because this is early 03. This might be January, February 03. So yeah, 18. Yeah. So yeah, I was 18, had a couple dollars from hustling, and I came up to Connecticut. And all while still being a part of that crew from back home. All still while being accepted up with them. Like I didn't like I felt so loyal to them and so
That was family.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Family, for sure. Some of those guys, we'd have slept in the same bed, feet to head, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we just did a lot of stuff together, you know, and yeah, my loyalty was to them. And even if I go to Connecticut, I make sure never to forget home and come back as often as I can and da 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 da. So, yeah, and then my chapter and my life in Connecticut started from there, the college years. So I came to Connecticut in 03, and when I came to Connecticut, I moved with Jeff, and Jeff was at the time working at CCSU, New Britain. Shout outs to New Britain, my second home. And he was working at a financial aid office. So Jeff was telling me, like, listen, before you come up here, you know, if you get some good grades and take your SATs, you could probably get in here. So I see it all the time through the financial aid office. So that really inspired me to go to school. Now, when I went up to school, mind you, I'm coming straight from Jersey, doing the least amount of work. You know, so when I went to night school, just about going to class. Like, as long as you're there, you're gonna pass. And so when I got to college, I wasn't ready for college.
So really quick, what was the mindset going to Connecticut? Was it, hey, this is like going to be a place where I can chill with my brother and I can keep doing the things I've been doing? Or was it, hey, I'm going to go for school?
I'm going to chill with my brother and keep doing the things I'm doing on a bigger scale, if anything. Yeah, because now I'm not living in my parents' house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got my own spot. So yeah, no, my mindset going to Connecticut didn't change my mindset at all. You know, it just basically had me like, hey, I'm coming out here. I'm coming to hustle. I'm coming to meet women, you know, and yeah, be with my brother. So when I came to Connecticut, my brother's already at school. So before I even attended the class, I'm already at the college parties. I'm already in the dorms. I'm already, you know what I'm saying, I'm already running around. So I'm seeing all that part of college experience. I'm not seeing the study hall or none of that. I'm seeing the parties, the drugs, the liquor, the women, da 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 da.
So you saw like the fast lifestyle and the party scene and got kind of a, not necessarily the whole picture of what it was really going to be like.
Nothing of the picture. So that attracted me so much. And Jeff took me with open arms, and I just went in there and I registered for some classes. And that fall of 03, I went to school. And my first day in school, I had one of the friends from the old crew had came up there, and we literally the first day of class, we're in there drunk. He don't even go to school. He lives in Jersey, but he's in class with me, and we have a fucking bottle of vodka, Grey Goose, and a water bottle, and we're just drinking in the class. So I tell you the tone that was set, you know, and where my mind was at. You know,
Sounds like high school for me.
yeah, yeah. At this point now, I'm drinking and smoking. It's not till after I dropped out of high school did I start. When I went to night school, when I started smoking. And from there, I enjoyed smoking and then drinking, and college had all that and then some. So it was go time. So you know, at this point, we're just getting lit and trying to have a party every day, and wasn't really caring about school or going to class or any of that. So So yeah, school was about partying and hustling, and that was it, pretty much. So my freshman year, I met a wonderful young lady. Um, she became my girlfriend. She was an upperclassman, so I really thought I was the man now. And again, I was accepted. I was accepted for who I was. I accepted because of my brother, and I was accepted because this is the first time in my life that pretty women that are my peers will actually date me. That didn't happen in high school. Um,
So coming to Connecticut was almost like, hey, I can create this whole new life for me. No one knows my past. No one knows about the bullying.
yep,
No one knows about anything except for what I want to show them.
yep, yep, exactly. And I wasn't used to women. I was used to women in terms of, hey, what's up, mom? I'm trying to get to know you. But I wasn't in any meaningful relationships in high school or any of that. The chicks wouldn't date me from my town. Um, I didn't dress nice. I didn't, you know, um, like I said, I didn't fit in. So they didn't want no parts of me. So when I came out here, it's like, whoa, they like me. So that was a big deal for me. So now that they like me, I'm trying to have everybody like me. So I'm sleeping with all of them. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I met this young lady, and she became my girlfriend, and got some to meet some cool people. And during my freshman year, um, me and some friends that I met up there, um, we were into stealing. So what we would do is we would go into people's rooms when they're not there or whatever, and we'll steal their textbooks, take their textbooks to the bookstore, and sell them back to the bookstore for some money, you know. And um, it then elevated to PlayStations. So now we're taking PlayStations and doing the same thing, selling at GameStop or whatever. And we got caught. And my freshman year, it was three of us. We got caught. Two of them played football though, so all three of us did it. But two of them played football. So I fell on the sword and said, "Hey, I did it." You know what I'm saying? And because I didn't want them to, ruin their shot. And so they kicked me off of campus. They said I couldn't live on campus or be on campus, be in any dorms, but I could just go to class and come back.
So they let you stay.
Yeah, let me stay, but they wouldn't let me to be on dorms or anything. Out of the question. That night, I was back in the dorms. I literally did not do a day, bro. You hear me? I was in the dorms, man, and to this day, I got both of them are good friends of mine, and we talk about that. Like I fell on the sword, bro, and yeah. So at this point, I had to do some volunteer work, and I never did it, so I couldn't go back to Central. So, so year two wasn't a year two. I only did 1 year at Central, but I stayed in Connecticut because me and a young lady we got an apartment together, and we were together for like, I know all in all 7 years, but I want to say we lived together between 3 and 4 years, and that was my first real relationship. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think that was college for me, man. It was smoking, drinking, and trying to just make money. It was all a blur, really. But it was only 1 year, but I still was a college kid in the sense of she was still in school. All my friends are still at college. I'm still going to the parties. I'm still doing all that stuff. So it was like I was still at school, but I wasn't getting any type of education
Yeah.
at all. So yeah, that was college, man. That was college. So fast forward through that. Well, during college, one thing I don't want to forget is that to fit in from a hustler, and it's a whole bunch of guys from different uh, inner cities throughout the country going to Central to play football or basketball or whatever, or just go to school. And to fit in, I kept this tough guy, hustler um, image. So for me, that was like that was something that I held dear to myself. So I try to be back to where I was saying, I try to be the great at whatever I do. I try to be the best hustler I could be. try to be the best tough guy I could be, and really had this selfishness about me. You know what I mean? Like because of that, I thought I had to get over on people and be selfish, and I thought I had to just
Kind of do the things that other people wouldn't do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to get ahead and to be accepted for who I am now as the hustler and
Yeah, you
the
got to keep up with that image.
right. So I heard a lot of people those days during that time. I heard a lot of people just being selfish, man. From whether if I was stealing some petty stuff, because now if I lose my laptop, I'll be destroyed, and I'm over there just stealing people laptops like they don't got a finals tomorrow or something, whatever,
Right.
or textbooks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here just
World revolves around you.
yep, so selfish, and I didn't realize how selfish I was, and how that selfishness was really lowering my quality of life. You know what I'm saying? As much as I want to have a good life, I'm not putting it to at this time, I'm not putting it together that to have a good life you have to be about others. I'm thinking it has to be about me. And when I look back at it, I think the resentment I had towards my upbringing, like I felt like you a sucker to be all about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like not none of like my father still works breaking his back and still has a church. My mother still housekeeping in New York, breaking her knees all up, and they're doing, and it's like they don't get a fair break.
Right. And think about it. You spent your whole first part of your life all about others, and what did it get you? Well, it got you bullied, not fitting in, not feeling wanted, and then the second you kind of switched the script, it made it about you. Friends, money, women, all these things started. So it makes sense how that facade kind of came about.
Yeah, and it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt good, and yeah, once I got to the point of after college and everything, this young lady that I'm talking about, that was my girlfriend. Um, she she wrote a resume for me, and she wrote a resume, and I, applied to job. Actually, she would apply to the jobs for me. To be real, she did everything for me, and I got a job at my first like real job in terms of not real, but job I got where it's like okay, I'm making some money was that in the I don't know if I did ing for was the mortgage company. I work at a mortgage company in Wallingford. It was a call center, and basically you call and we service your loan, how to pay it, your details of your loan, amortization schedule, all that stuff.
Now, were you still hustling at that time, or did you kind of put that to the side?
I never stopped hustling.
Yeah.
Never. That was an addiction.
Yeah.
I never stopped hustling. In fact, I would hustle at the jobs. You know what I'm saying? I was just start seeing what people like and what they don't like, and I get that for you. You know what I mean? So, no, I never stopped hustling. I never ever stopped hustling until I got locked up. Um, but yeah, so I started working there, and that's a great segue. Like I always had one foot in and one foot out. So I'm a professional, but I'm still hustling. I'm a professional, but I'm still hanging out with the same. Well, in Connecticut, the same group of guys that want to party and they're in college and or whatever, and they want to party and this and that, and I got to go to work in the morning, but I'd rather go party, so I'll go to late to work. You know what I'm saying? And so I went through a few different jobs during that time. I worked at that mortgage company. I then later worked for ING, which I think is something else now. But I worked for ING, MetLife, Prudential, and these companies. I worked on annuities. I was a registered rep, had a Series 6, 63, and basically a registered rep. I could just I could service any 401k, 403b, 457, or IRA, traditional or Roth or whatever. so I could service those. And that was, Hartford, the insurance capital of the world. So I was working in those jobs in those call centers, and but again, I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
How'd you kind of balance that? Because again, going from like this very unprofessional atmosphere, right, to a professional atmosphere, while also maintaining the hustle. What was that like, kind of balancing those two things?
Well, I think it goes back to your point of being a chameleon. I just wanted, I just fit right on in. Yeah, I mean, I would stay up late, still answer my phone, still serve people, and if I go to work late, I go to work late. If I call out, I call out. It is what it is. I didn't have a outlook on it like it was. A hustle was way more important, even so that I'm making more money working.
Yeah.
But if it don't work, I'm gonna collect unemployment. Like I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like I would now with a job. So yeah, that really, I don't know if I balanced it. I just think I just did it. Then whatever crashed first was whatever was gonna crash first. But I would hope the job would crash first before the hustle. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But from there, I was working at. Well, I had a lot going on during that time. I was doing music.
So you got back into music?
hmm hmm The crew that I grew up with, um, everybody wanted to be a rapper. So I was like one of the last dudes to rap actually, because I went to Connecticut. So when I would come home, um, we would have backseat versus front seat freestyle battles. You know what I'm saying? And dudes be rapping, and I was getting tired of just them getting on me. I ain't rapping back, so I started rapping back, and I got a liking to it. I'm not gonna say I was like the best, but um, it's music, so I found my way in it, and I started working on that craft. Man, I was like really focused on being good at that. So I started working on that. So that was like my passion during it all. Working, hustling, and music. So during that time, I'm just really looking for ways to push that. So yeah, that was one of the things that's what was happening during that time. And then fast forward, so we're talking 20, 2004, 5, 6, in and out of these jobs, stuff like that. And then 2007, one of my close friends got killed. And that's when everything, for me at least, I think that's when everything really changed as far as how I viewed myself. Um, in 2005, I got shot. Still living the same life, but I got shot in 2005. Wrong place, wrong time. I was in Providence, Rhode Island. I was going into a bar, and it was a drive-by, and I got hit. Don't know who shot me. Don't know anything like that. Got shot in my arm, and that messed me up for a while. Like I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go to no parties, no nothing. Like
Yeah, I would imagine that would be pretty freaky.
yeah, because it was really literally wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
Like it's I that's the God honest truth. Like I was in Providence, Rhode Island. Like
Yeah.
I don't go to Providence, Rhode Island. Um. So yeah. So when that happened, it took me a while to get back out of that shell to like want to go out and want to do stuff. So I finally got back to that, and I was doing my thing, and I was cool. And um, I wouldn't carry no guns or none of that. I would hustle. Someone probably would tell me I should have some guns because I was getting a couple of dollars back then, but I didn't really do guns. I didn't grow up around guns. And yeah, Newark's next door, but where we're at, during the time where I'm there, people weren't getting shot. So we were fighting. You know what I'm saying? Fight, live another day. And when my friend, when Sharif died, um, I just that that just made me like look at life so much different. Like I was just like I felt like a sucker because I ain't had no gun.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like, yo, what you doing out here, man? This dude just got killed. Like you gotta be strapped. Like that's just what it is. And so not realizing that, carrying a gun, um, an unregistered gun at that, um, has such a different type of energy that it brought to my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking different. I'm moving different. I'm like a cowboy. I got a gun on me all the time. Like I'm always holster always. And I just didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care about myself or anybody else or anything. I'm just gonna protect myself or and it is what it is. And I think from there, that's when having a gun on me gave me this like this false sense of power.
So it was like almost a new persona on top of already existing tough guy image.
Now it's like, well, I'll shoot your ass. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was coming, and it was. Yeah, looking back, it's like, man, because that's really not my style. That, like I said, we ain't grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? But once Sharif passed, it was like, yo, I got to get a gun. So I started getting guns and collecting guns and having all these guns and um um yeah, that just put me into a different space, man. Just a space that now I'm so like ashamed of. You know what I mean? Because it just like I didn't care about myself or others. You know what I mean? And I don't, thank God I never did anything with none of them guns. But um, that's a thank God because I don't know what could have happened in the wrong situation. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I mean, hopelessness it's a scary spot.
there you go. That's the
right
word.
when you genuinely don't care.
Yeah, I ain't care. Once they took Sharif, man, I ain't care about nothing, man.
And it's funny because that not caring when used right can propel you to such great things, actually, right? Where, hey, I'm down, I got nothing to lose. Why not shoot my shot?
Yeah.
But it's so much easier for that to be taken, again, given the emotions and the opportunities that likely exist in those moments, to put that into kind of the opposite route and stay stuck so much easier.
Well, at that time, I can't even see an opportunity.
Right.
I probably had a whole bunch of opportunities at the time, but I couldn't. I'm young, man. I was. Let me see. 05, oh 06. I'm 22 years old. I'm a registered rep.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest kid in there. Everybody else in their 30s, college grads. And I'm in here talking about selling, I could be a financial advisor if I stay on this road, you know what I'm saying? And make buku money, be in Wall Street or something. And, I ain't care though. None of that moved me, which was kind of, I had an opportunity to run up the ranks in MetLife. I actually know a guy that did it and doing very well right now. And, but I didn't do it. But when I look back, it's not like I didn't have the opportunity. I just ain't, my perspective was off.
Right. Well, you can't, it's hard to see what you're not looking for.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yep.
And clearly the priorities were in this totally different direction, and the appeal of the things you really were attracted to were completely different than that kind of corporate lifestyle.
Right. Right. And I was so unhappy in that corporate lifestyle. Now looking back, I used to say that like, yo, I hate this job, I hate this job, I hate this job, I can never do this again. And I don't know if it's I can never do it again. That's not what I wanted.
Right.
And it sucked. So yeah, so now, so at this point, I'm a hustler, but I'm also willing to do anything to get money. You know what I'm saying? I'm at that point in my life. I got a drug habit and a drinking habit. Like I'm smoking a lot of weed and drinking. And it's like I can't do nothing unless I'm doing both. You know what I'm saying? I can't even function during the day. I have to smoke. I have to drink. And so at this point, I'm supporting that. And, trying to stay up with chicks. You know what I'm saying? That costs money. So everything is about getting money, 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 money. So I lost my job at MetLife. They gave me unemployment, but they could have definitely fought it and not gave it to me because I just stopped coming to work. That's basically literally. I just stopped going to work and just waited a couple weeks to file my unemployment.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So now at this point, now I'm just like, yeah, I'll do whatever to get money. I got unemployment, but I ain't. And that's when I just started just doing a whole bunch of craziness and even being more selfish and more selfish. Now I'm at my peak of being as selfish as I ever been at this point. So I'm collecting unemployment. I'm off work, and then I started. I elevated the stealing that I talked about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Before, and I didn't realize it until I started doing my reflection and due diligence and all the whole thing. I was just stealing. I was a thief. Then I went to being a robber, and I didn't care who was getting hurt, who was traumatized, who was this. Just give me the money. You know what I'm saying? So I started robbing people.
Out of respect for those involved with this legal matter, a portion of this podcast was removed. Kevin was arrested in 2008 and charged with robbery and the unlawful use of a firearm.
I was doing all this stuff to be accepted, and now I'm back to square one of not being accepted. And these are from people that I looked up. I want to say I looked up to, but I just so grateful for, so thankful that they accepted me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of something, and to lose that was like the hardest thing. That was the hardest loss I ever took. To lose them, that was a hard loss. And you look back and people will tell you, oh well, those aren't your friends anyway, or this and that and all that, which is probably the case, and whatever. But at the end of the day, that was a loss. You know what I'm saying?
Think of how many memories, bonds, blood, everything that you guys did together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's no way, even if it wasn't the right thing, it was still a real thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
And that man, that really whew. So once that happened, and now I don't have them. My parents I'm out on bail. They're with me, but I don't want to say hate me. I don't want to say hate me, but they're disappointed.
Yeah, they're hurt.
They're hurt. I just felt alone, and I just went into the music. I was out on bail. I went into the music, and basically for the next year or so, I was just recording and doing videos and just writing songs, and just material, just escaping.
Was it escaping? Was it processing?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because I made a lot of songs about the guys and how they, diss tracks.
Yeah.
So definitely processing, and but escape. Yeah, both definitely. So yeah, but while I'm making this music, it's funny because I never knew what anxiety was until this part of my life. I never knew what it was because I never felt, at this point, this was the first time that I felt butterflies 24/7. Yeah, 24/7. That thing made me want to cry, man. That was like a suffering, man. You wake up with that shit. You go to sleep with it all day with it. It don't leave, man.
Yeah, and I know it probably, what I'm going to say is going to make you want to smack me in the face, but that's probably the best thing that happened to you, right? There's beauty in that, right? How many people get locked up and don't experience that at all, right? Because it's just a way of life, and it's so ingrained. Whereas for you, in that moment, had you not had that, right, that was almost like your litmus test to say, hey, is what I'm doing right or wrong? Right? So I think although I'm sure it was incredibly uncomfortable and painful, there's beauty in that moment.
Well, yeah. I think, growth is uncomfortable and at times painful, so definitely, it reflected 100%. I totally agree. I'm glad I went through it. But at the time, because I don't even know that it's anxiety, to even know who to talk to about anxiety, to even know that I need to talk to someone about it.
Yeah,
You know
you
what
just
I'm
think
saying?
you're going crazy.
And it was torture, man. I promise you, I got locked up, and it was better being in jail than on the streets. And so yeah, so I'm going back and forth to court. I'm doing the music thing, but I'm still living in Connecticut, so I'm traveling to Jersey to go to court, and I'm in school.
So you did end up going back.
Yeah, I'd skipped that part. So when I got locked up, that was my first semester back in school for the first time since 03, 04. So maybe 5-6 years. Or four, yeah, because that was 08. Christmas Eve of 08, I got locked up. So, I'm sorry, New Year's Eve of 08, I got locked up. So that was 4 years since I've been in school. And I finally went back to school. So I was saying, yo, you got to bail me out because I got to go to class, yo.
So you're able to kind of use that as a, and did they buy that?
Oh, yeah, they bailed me out.
Okay.
And I went to school and I got straight A's, which is crazy. I got straight A's.
That's not crazy.
Well, I had a lot on my mind. You know what I mean? So I got straight A's, and so I'm out on bail, and I don't want to go back to school because I don't know when I'm going in. So I finished that year, but I didn't keep going back. But yeah, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm out in I'm in school. I'm doing all this stuff, and I forgot where I was going with it. But yeah, I finally get my day of judgment. And before I get my day of judgment, they're like, listen, we'll give you 4 years with 3 years parole. In my mind, I never been locked up before. I'm a college student. Y'all gonna give me a shot. Y'all gonna give me a break. And they're like, oh yeah, this is a break. And for me, it was just like, the reality was like I really didn't think I was gonna go to jail, or if I was gonna go, it wasn't gonna be for long or whatever. And yeah, it smacked me in the face. Said you gotta go to jail, and I went to jail. Turned myself in, and prison. Here I am. So
what's that like? Kind of that process from getting sentencing right to actually turning yourself in, and that first day there. What's that like?
Well, turning yourself in is before sentencing. You know what I'm saying? Because I was out on bail. So let me say that over. I didn't turn myself in technically. What I did was I went to court. And when I went to court, it was sentencing. So when I got sentenced, I didn't walk back out.
Right.
I went the other way.
Yeah.
I went through the back. And so yeah, basically I went to court. I got detained, and I then went to the county and had to go through they call quarantine, and change it to your tans and all that. Well, greens. Change it to your whatever you got on in the county, and then get back for time for dinner. You know what I mean? And your bid has now started. So I don't want to say, because I was locked up when I got bailed out, so I kind of knew what the county was going to be. So what happens is you go to court, then you go to the county, but then you got to go downstate. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different things. Like county jail and state jail are like two different districts, I guess, or two different. Think of them as organizations. So once you're done with the county, and the county decides that you're going to go to a state prison come get you, and then you go down to in Jersey. It's called CRAF, Central Reception Assessment Facility. I could be wrong, but I know something like that. And that's basically where everyone goes, and they say what prison you're going to go to and classify you. How many points you got, can you get outside clearance, all that stuff. So that happens in Craft. And then, so I was in the county for like a week or two, and then I went down to Craft. I was down there for like 2 weeks, and then I went down to Bayside State Prison. So, hope to answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Bayside. I went to Bayside, which is funny because I went to classification. So again, classification is you go in there and you talk to a board of people that look over your file and say, okay, you're going to go to this prison or that prison, depending on your history, your crime, all that comes into consideration. So when I got down there, they said, hey, you're going to go to Southern State Correctional Facility. So everyone in there was like, yo, Southern. If you could go to Southern, get to Southern, bruh. I was at that age group where I'm right almost there to go to like adult prisons, but I could still go to a youth correctional. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to go there because that's gladiator school. They're going to be fighting. I don't want to do all that. Let me get to Southern. Boom. I get to Southern. I'm all right. I'm like, I want to go to Southern. They telling me Southern got the microwaves, dorms, TV on 24/7. You chilling. So I'm like, all right. Which means basically you're not locked in.
Right.
You basically, once they open up 8 in the morning, you're good till it's count time. Sit on your bed. Once count over, you can go back and do whatever you. So you outside, you moving. Man, the day of, they said, Paulin, Bayside. Excuse me? No, they said I was going to Southern yesterday. Bayside. Sir. They said it. He gave me that look. I said, well, guess I'm going to Bayside. So then I went to Bayside, and mind you, everyone's saying like this is the worst prison in Jersey to be in. It's racist. It's cops beat people ass down there, and you don't want to go to Bayside.
So you're terrified.
Am I? Bayside? What? Go to what? My first bid, I'm going to Bayside? I didn't even like a lot of times. Well, from what I've heard, like you'll go to Bayside after getting in trouble in another jail, then they'll send you to Bayside after you do ASSEG or whatever. And they're like, nah, first ride. So I'm like, wow. So come to find out, there was a food strike at Bayside. So they took all the guys that did the food strike, sent them to Southern. Bayside and Southern's across the street from each other. And everyone that was scheduled to go to Southern that day had to now fill up the beds for Bayside. So that's what happened.
So you just got hit.
I just got
bad luck.
Bad luck. And at that point, I felt like that's all I had was bad luck. So then we goes to Bayside or whatever, and we get there. We go to B unit, which is the intake unit, and it's horrible. You hear me? Horrible. You can't get canteen yet. You gotta wait to order. You can't do it. It's you on lockdown. So you get B unit get 2 recs a day, hour and a half. You got time to take a shower, use the phone. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you're in the cell the whole time, and it's hot as hell in them cells. You hear me? Walls bleeding, literally. You know what I'm saying? And so you ain't got no property. You ain't got no fan. You ain't got nothing. Like you in there bleeding. You hear me? So went down just down Bayside, and then at this point, I'm thinking more about changing at this point, but I didn't know how or what or how it looked.
Do you remember what those thoughts kind of were?
Yeah. Them thoughts at that point, early on in the process, it was to go to church, find God, and basically ask for protection. Still being selfish. Basically, I'm going to pray and protect me, and that's what's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Without putting any, work in or anything like that. So in the beginning, that's how it was. At this moment, though, I do have a girlfriend. This young lady, I'll say her name. Her name's Shundell. This young lady was very pivotal to my growth. And at the time, I was out on bail. I met her out on bail. and we hit it off from the day I met her. That's a whole nother podcast. The day I met her, that's a funny story. Shout outs to Baltimore, but I met her in Baltimore, and yeah, she was or she is a Buddhist. So she was really big on like, hey, you can manifest this to change, and you also could change. The first time her poison in a medicine was with her, and yeah, she was definitely had me thinking outside the box of like, yeah, I do gotta change. Just not only because I really liked her, so not only do I got to change for myself, but I know I have to change if I really want to have something meaningful with her because she on a whole different frequency.
So would you consider kind of where your falling up moment began?
Nah. I would say the falling up moment. She's a part of the falling up moment though, but I wouldn't say that began. It wasn't far off from there though. It definitely didn't start on the street. On the street, I was more like surviving. Like I was hustling to pay for the lawyer. I was hustling just to get on planes because I was going back and forth to Florida. I was hustling just to do stuff like just to live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, so nah, at that time, nah, that wasn't my falling up moment. But it did happen in prison not too long after I got settled in. So after the whole B unit thing, I got into population, and now I'm in population. I'm chilling, and I went down to church not too long after being there. Maybe that first Sunday that I was able to go, I went, and I ain't feel nothing. I was I'm asking for guidance. I'm asking for help. I'm praying and praying and praying, and I'm not here to say it's not real or anything like that. I'm just here to say that I didn't feel like anyone was listening to me. I felt like I wasn't being heard, and it's just like I'm by myself. So I'm going down to this church for what? Like, it didn't feel genuine, and I do think I am spoiled with my experience of watching my father because he's a very selfless man. Like he is a man that he wouldn't let the church pay him. He would continue to work and run a church rather than being like most pastors and getting paid by the church. He would not do it. I mean, I respect that. So I, for me, that's kind of like my mentality too for something you love and care about. And when I went down there, it's like the same dudes that's like gambling and all this stuff in the yard are the same dudes talking about they running a church. So it just didn't feel. It felt like so disingenuine, and it wasn't for me. So back to Shundell, she sent me a book on Buddhism called "A Buddha in Your Mirror," and I started reading that, and it just started talking to me like it was making sense. And it was really, I think, one of the biggest things about the Buddhist practice is the accountability, like the karma, if you do this, cause and effect. If you do this, something's going to happen. If you do this, something's going to happen. What you want to happen is up to you. And that was my the start of the falling up moment. Um, because that was like the first time where I felt like, okay, this is on me to change this whole environment, this whole situation. And I start being more open to ideas of of being happy. So with that book came another book, which was How to Form a Nonprofit. Um, so when I got those two books, I was also going down to the school and I was helping I was just helping dudes tutoring and stuff like that. And I felt good, man. I felt so good like helping someone, you know, learn, just helping. And it was cool. It wasn't no pressure. It wasn't like, yo, you got to go tutor. It wasn't like it was a job. It was more so, yeah, I know you or we met in the yard. We're gonna just go down there. We ain't gonna let nobody know. Like, it was on the low. You know what I mean? Helping people. And that was when the falling up moment came. Because that was like one of the first times where I was smiling, laughing, and I was happy.
You found meaning.
Found meaning. And I was happy. Man. So that's when I said, how do I keep this going? What do I do? Then Think and Grow Rich came. So what I did with Think and Grow Rich, so for our podcast listeners, Think and Grow Rich, highly recommended. What I did with Think and Grow Rich was I took, because for those that don't know, basically Think and Grow Rich is a book that shares principles about how to make money and be successful. And what I did was, instead of, and no one told me to do this. I don't know why. I'm really here trying to reflect why I did this. I don't even remember why, but I just took out money and put happiness into that. And that's why I'm so big on Think and Grow Rich like that. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because it really showed, when I put happiness in there, when I made my life just in the worst place that I could ever imagine being in. You know what I'm saying? I ain't grow up to be in prison. And I'm not saying that like anyone grows up to be in prison, but I grew up in a family where that was the last thing that was expected was for any of the kids to go to prison. Like that's not what we were taught to do. And when I put that in, that's when the falling up moment came. That's when these books start coming, and these just helping people and all this stuff started making sense. That's when all that shit lined up. All of it lined up. And I just, like the book says, I started writing down what I want to happen. And it was start a nonprofit. Well, it was get a car. No, I'm sorry. Reinstate your suspended license for 2 DUIs. Get an apartment, get a car, get a job, get insurance, start a nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? And and start a studio. I seen the list the other day. I said, wow, I want to start a studio. I forgot about that. But I started writing this stuff down and just checking the stuff off when I got home. And it was just, like you said, meaning. It gave me purpose, man. It gave me purpose, and it gave me like this clear-cut way to be happy.
Yeah, it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
It really is. I know that when in doubt, help someone else. When I'm helping someone else, I'm not thinking about my problems and my bullshit, and I'm not thinking, it's not about me. Mm-hmm. And that reprieve is nice because my brain cares about me.
Right.
Right? At its core, that's what it cares about.
Right. Right. And, yeah. We then, one thing about prison that I think is so ironic is that I got some friends to this day that I met in prison. And I'm talking about gangsters, hustlers, from places like Patterson and Camden and Newark and, Atlantic City, and from these tough neighborhoods and from these tough upbringings where they understand what I'm saying if I say, I don't know this life. Like, I really didn't grow up around that. But they have, because of where they're from and where they were born at. They had it harder than I did, 100%. And I think the most ironic part of it is those friendships I have now is because I was who I am now in there. That's probably the most out of all the stuff, which is I don't even know how to feel about if it's a hard lesson or tough lesson or whatever, but I do feel like it's so ironic that I went, because we use summer school as where the cool kids be at.
Right.
Oh, baby, prison is where the cool kids are at. You hear me? All the cool kids are in prison.
Yeah, well, for the first time, you were your true self, right?
Yeah.
And you were able to be genuine. And that is the most pure form of any relationship, right? Relationships that aren't built on ulterior motives or image, but are built on the true self.
All right. 100%. And I was just sports, but now I'm not hiding the fact that I'm reading a book.
Right.
I'm not hiding the fact that I'm literally walking the yard with this gentleman from Philly that taught me so much and really was the one that made me start digging into what faith really is. He's not to digress, but he's Muslim, and he would say a lot of Islamic parables. And he knew I was studying Buddhism, so it wasn't about converting me, but it was more like, yo, because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start a nonprofit. How do I get the money? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I get the money to start a business? Da, da, da. He's like, yo, you read, think, and grow rich. Write what you want to happen, and all the other stuff will fall into place. He kept telling me that. And it wasn't until I got home and all the stuff like that I had on this list that I had 3 years to do that I did in like 11 months. You know what I'm saying? Like ridiculously fast. My success coming home was stupid. Like it didn't even make no like it's
So really quick, and I think it's a good place to wrap. We've been going
for a while, right?
for a long while. Give the quick synopsis of getting out and what that kind of looked like, where you say, hey, I had this 3-year plan and I converted it in about 11 months, and then a little bit about what life is like now. I think that's a good place to wrap.
Sure. So I came home July 31st, 2014. Shundell picked me up. And I had $700 to my name because I had like a job in a halfway house, and I had a plan though. You know, I had all this stuff written out on what I wanted to do and what I needed to do. So I came home and I just I got my parole transferred to Connecticut. So I drove up to Connecticut and they put me on an ankle monitor, and I just was so focused on getting what I need to get done. So I came home July 31st. My first thing was I got to get a job. I'm my brother has a 2-bedroom. He has my nephew, so it's him and my nephew. So I'm on the living room couch, which, for the record, was by far one of the best times of my life. I missed a lot of years from Jordan, my nephew, and that broke my heart. That was one of the other reasons why I said I have to change, because I can't leave him again. Like, that's my heart, man. I love that boy to death, you hear me? And to have those, I don't know, maybe I moved out like May, so maybe 8 months or something like that with him every day. That I wouldn't trade that for the world, man. That was such a prayer was answered for me to be around him so much, because I missed him so much. And so my day would just my mission was to get a job. And so what I did was I did a lot of brain picking for a lot of brain picking to our employment specialist that was down in the halfway house, just looking at jobs that do hire returning citizens, jobs that would do that. So my first thing was, all right, there's a shop right that's walking distance, maybe a mile and a half. I'm gonna go there. And I applied August 3rd. I was hired like August 5th. You know what I mean? So boom, landed a job. Once I landed a job, I tried to just, I need a second job because this ain't enough. So I just started working, man, and I just started just really just being open to anything positive at that point, anything I could do to improve my situation as a person or as a parolee. If I take a program that's gonna be good for parole, then I was with whatever. Like I was really trying to do everything the right way and not take no shortcuts. I was big on not taking any shortcuts. So I worked, and parole wanted me to be in this program called Starting Over, which was ran by Columbus House, and that's when I had the pleasure of meeting Kendra and Katie. They were both my case manager and employment specialist, and they were helping me tremendously, tremendously. From there, um, through hard work and just specifically Kendra just believing in me, she put her name behind me to say, hey, if you want to hire this guy for the shelter at Columbus House, probably be a good idea. I think he's a good candidate. And right there goes job number 2. So for me, kind of what you were saying before, like when we were talking about opportunities and being able to see them, I was just such in a good place that they hired me per diem. Um, they hired me per diem for that interview, and I'm laughing because I cried in the interview. Like I ain't never do no shit like that. They said they step out. They hit me with the the interview, step out, come back in, and they say we just like to tell you that you got the job and da da da. I cried like a baby, yo, because I just knew. Um, they didn't know, but I knew I'm in my purpose, yo. How the hell I've been dreaming? How the hell I didn't ask nobody for that nonprofit book? How I get a nonprofit book to how to form a nonprofit, and a nonprofit hires me that where I am a client at, hires me to work with the clients for that's gonna give me my foot in the door in a nonprofit. Like this is what I want to do. This is my purpose, yo. So it was crazy to me. Like it was just like I'm manifesting this. This works. Kind of like what I was saying about the gentleman before. Like just write down what you want to end. Don't worry about the middle. And this was, oh shit, this works. So yeah, from there, I just kept at it. I I was so determined, yeah. And I think this is one of the things that if anyone get anything from these podcasts is you have to have in Napoleon Hill talks about a burning desire. A burning desire that burns so bright that it engulfs you. I have such a desire to win when it comes to starting a nonprofit and maintaining a nonprofit that what I would do is I had no car. I would take the bus to the shelter at for like 3:30. The shift starts at 4. Just say, oh, I was in the neighborhood just seeing if you guys need somebody tonight. And be like, nah, we good. All right. Act like I was just pulled up. And now I'm sick because I got to go take the bus back or walk back because I don't like to wait. But that's what I did, man. I didn't miss a shift. If they need me, I'm there. I didn't care. I don't care about no sleep, no nothing. I'm there. And they must have took notice because then I started, looking at their website and looking at anything job openings. So every job opening that came, I applied for it. I didn't care if it was manager, case manager. I didn't even know what that meant. I ain't care. I'm applying for it. You're gonna tell me no. And they just gave me a shot, man. They gave me a shot every time I put in for something. I didn't get everything, but they at least gave me an interview and they at least gave me the benefit of the doubt of, nah, you can't get this job or whatever. Like they just like for that I was so grateful. And then I finally landed a full-time gig, being rep payee. And again, I continued to go up the ranks, did the whole rep payee thing. Then I did employment specialist. Then I did inspector, property inspector. Then I did program coordinator for the recovery house. 6 years there at Columbus House. So I was able to really run up the ranks, man. So I was just so determined, man. I just nothing could stop me. There was nothing on this planet that was going to stop me unless you kill me. You know, that it was happening, and I believed it. And I definitely had little markers along the way to show me, like I said earlier, like, okay, you're on the right path. You're on the right path. So, yeah, that's pretty much how that whole situation went down when I came home, man. Yeah. Your pecs are jumping at me.
Am I Drew now?
I guess.
I guess so. I think going back to where I opened, I don't even remember exactly what I said, but there's not many times where, you know, I can think on one hand how many meaningful relationships I had, and I know in that day in 2015, I had no idea what this was going to flourish into. And I know I've told you this before, but that's saying you want that, or I think it's your typically used, you don't want that person to be holding your rope. Well, I think of the people who I would want holding my rope, and you're one of them for all of these reasons, and then some when it comes to relationships. But when I think of you, I think of someone who's dependable. I think of someone who's accountable, right? Takes personal responsibility. When you mess up, you acknowledge it. And I look at your growth over the past 6 years that I've known you, and it's tremendous. I mean, in this things you didn't say, like, I know something that was high on your list was being a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
Coming out with absolutely no credit, not able to do anything.
467 credit score.
That's it, right? But working up and owning a home, right? And then I know we won't speak to it too much, but you started a nonprofit, right? That's centered around helping people who are returning from incarceration. And I can't think of a better person to be running that, man. I can't. Someone who has been there, who's done it, but genuinely has the passion to give back and to help. And you've been working there for how long?
Where, at the nonprofit?
Yeah.
Oh, what are we talking about? Winning Ways?
Winning Ways.
5 years?
5 years, and pretty much
2016?
full time for the past year and a half, right?
Oh, yeah.
How much money you earn from it?
None.
That's right. But that shows something, right? You're out meetings every single day, meeting with people in the community every day, and you're not earning a dime from it yet. That's special, man. And that shows that you're not only talking these things, but your actions back it up. And for that, I love you. I'm so grateful that I got to hear your story in depth today. I apologize for losing steam at the end.
You're good. Nah.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I appreciate it, brother.